So in this video, we are going to continue with the dashboard, but we're going to focus our attention on the sidebar in Canvas. Now, sidebar is kind of like what it implies. It is on the side. So we're looking at this area on the right-hand side of our screen, and we're actually going to look at this from two different perspectives. We are going to look at this from the perspective of a teacher, but we are also going to look at this from the perspective of a student. So first things first, when I look at the sidebar here, you're going to notice the verbiage is to grade. Now, that's because I am in as a teacher. So this says grade words of affirmation or grade, this is module 1, task 1, explain, and it tells me what course. So this is in my Intro to Ed course. This one is my 7th grade science class, and it tells me when I have things that I need to actually grade. This populates automatically for me as a teacher as soon as students are completing things in Canvas. This is kind of giving me that list of the things that I need to be working on. It's hyperlinked. I can click on it and it will take me directly to those submissions so I can grade them. It's actually super fantastic. But let's look at the student's perspective. So if I look at the student's perspective, look at and notice that this is a to-do list, is the things that they need to complete. Now, I apologize for this lame name, new quiz. I was trying to see something, but we can see that we have a quiz to take from our Intro to Ed class. We have a self-care checklist from Intro to Ed, and I have a random acts of kindness. Now, a couple things. Number one, this is a discussion. I can tell because of that icon. This is an assignment, and I can tell that because of this icon. The reason I populated this and said new quizzes is this appears to be an assignment icon. The new quizzes tool, however, in Canvas, populates on the to-do list as an icon that looks like an assignment. So I wanted to make sure that you saw that because it doesn't populate with that rocket ship like we would assume. It does in the course, but for whatever reason on the to-do list, it populates as an assignment. That's going to make more sense later, I'm sure. But all of these things are hyperlinked. So as a teacher is creating stuff in their course, they're giving it due dates, all of that is populating here. All a student has to do is really select it and it takes them directly to that assignment. Okay. Now, one thing I want to show you, I'm going to go back to my dashboard for a minute. There are two levels of sidebars. So we can look at the global dashboard sidebar, which is like all of our courses together. This student is only enrolled in one, so it's a little different. But I can also look at the sidebar for just one class. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let's go back to the teacher's perspective. It looks the same for both. Now, if I look at this sidebar, it tells me I have two things to grade. But if I get into my actual Intro to Ed class, you're going to see that the only thing in this sidebar is just this one item. That's because now we're course specific. So if we're working in a course, we can look at the sidebar and those things are going to relate to this specific course. But if we're on our dashboard, it's going to be everything all together. Last thing I want to point out, for an instructor, we also have something called Coming Up. And the Coming Up is really just a truncated view of the next 7 days in my calendar. And it actually includes today as well. So anything that's on the next 7 days is going to populate here. Sort of redundant, but from a bird's eye view, it's nice to see all in one place. So take that for what it's worth. That is a little bit about the sidebar. In our next video, we're going to talk about feedback and grades. So come back and we'll finish up the sidebar conversation.